Hello punters and welcome to a Saturday Racing Preview where of course we're looking at the Randwick meeting for tomorrow. Some sensational racing going around Group 2, Group 3 races. Of course we've got the Group 2 Furious Stakes over the 1200 metres. Got the Group 3 Concord, a very good lead up to the Everest. A lot of the key chances in the Everest going around in that race, so we'll be keeping a good eye on that one. The Group 2 Chelmsford, Wait for Age level, and the Group 2 Tramway Stakes. So really looking forward to getting stuck into this meeting at Rose Hill. At the moment, the track's conditions are a soft 6. Weather's fine up there, but I'd say we're working those soft conditions at Randwick, so the form has been done as such on those conditions. Looking at the first race of the card, 1300 metres, benchmark 72 for the 3-year-olds. Very good race, this one. Look at the speed here. I'd say Yao Dash and Pretty Brazen will find the top. Say Superior and Matty Rocks will probably sit in behind them. Well, Matty Rocks might not be getting forward. I'd say Funstar might even boot up and get in behind them, but interesting little speed map, not a whole lot of speed in the race, I wouldn't have thought, but for me, number 1 Superior looks really hard to beat. Was very unlucky not to win last time out. Was overturned on a protest by True Detective in a Group 3 race. Obviously comes into a much weaker field here. I think True Detective's a very good horse. They put a bit of a space on the rest of them, and I think that run was really good. It's never been tried on a soft track, wet conditions, which is a little bit of a concern, but for me, based off what I saw last start, I've got to be with it this time round. So I've got it on top of the $5 and $1.70 the place. To beat number 6, Matty Rocks, who I did like during the week, they scratched and came to this event instead, which I really got to respect. It was a good run last time out behind Pandemic. Not sure, look, don't necessarily say it can overturn the tables, but for me, I think $8 and $2.20 is a bit of a ridiculous price considering this horse ran so well first up and Pandemic was second up. I think maybe it'll just get a little bit close this time around. In the third, number 2, Pandemic, as I just mentioned, obviously did beat Matty Rocks last time out, beat it pretty fair and square as well, but comes onto a wet track here. A lot of these haven't seen a wet track, which is makes this race very interesting to dissect. But I've got it in for third. And then in for fourth, number 3, Funstar. Of course, this horse was terrific last preparation with 2 great wins in its maiden first and foremost at Canterbury. Then it came and beat Leviathan on a heavy track at Randwick. This horse does have wins on soft tracks, a soft track and a heavy track. So for me, out of all of them, this horse does have a bit of a claim to this race of $4.60 because it's got that wet track form. But for me, first up, when some of these are well into their preparation with a first or a second up run, for me, I've just got to put it back behind them. But look, I do give a bit of a chance to Yao Dash. It was a really good win by it on Daboon. Was really well backed, beat Petronius, who of course came out and won during the week at Warwick Farm. At Randwick on the Kensington track. Pretty Brazen, of course, steps back from a very tough race where it was beaten by Libertini there, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more in that race to have backed it this time round. But so recapping the numbers on race number 1, I do like number 1, Superior on top. For me, to beat number 6, Matty Rocks, in for second, in for third, number 2, Pandemic, and in for fourth, number 3, Funstar. Race number 2, it's the 1200 metre tab class 3 highway race. Look at the speed map here. I'd say Coupe de Main and Leshrac will find the top. Say Press Box won't be far behind, and Charlotte's Heart might be up there as well. But not a whole lot of speed, surprisingly, for a tab highway race. So for me, I really like the chance of number 6, Press Box here. It's a former Chris Waller horse. First comes into this race first up. Has had 4 starts on a soft track for 2 wins, so I do like that. Liked its recent trial at Bathurst. Thought it was a nice run there. And last preparation, I mean, towards the back end of its prep, won some nice races at Bathurst, and also that was obviously when it changed the trainer. So it changed, looked to turn a bit of a corner when it came to Dean Murphin. So I think this horse can run well here, and from the wide barrier, I think it can get into a nice spot. With not a lot of speed in the racing, it would be really hard to run down. So I've got it on top with National Reel in the saddle. To beat number 4, hit the target in for second. This horse is also first up, has got great stats on a soft track, has had 2 starts on it for a win and a placing. So I do like that. It's a big tick coming this race. Recent trial at Scone was really good behind Suncraze. We know Suncraze is a pretty good horse for this sort of level. So hit the targets if we've got a great chance of a second. In for third, I do like the chance of number 10, Charlotte's Heart. I think can improve once again based off that last start win in a highway race at Randwick. It was a really good run on that occasion. It's only been tested on a wet track once, and that was on a heavy where it was unplaced. A little bit of a concern here, but based on what I did last time out, I can't really understand why it's going $11 when it's going to possibly get a similar sort of run to what it did last time out. Then in for fourth, number 14, Rev It Up Red Nut, who of course charged the line in that race as well. I thought it was a really good run. It can run well here again. So recap the numbers on the highway race. Race number 2. I do like number 6 Press Box on top to beat number 4 Hit the Target in for second. In the third, I like number 10 Charlotte's Heart. In for fourth, number 14 Rev It Up Red Nut. Race number 3, 1100 metre fillies and mares benchmark 78. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that Miss Invincible will go forward, as will Annie Proof from the outside barriers. Bear Naked Lady will fly on the top. So JJDR might just sit in just behind them, but not a stack of speed in this race. And as such, I do still think that Blue Roche will be hard to beat. It's the class horse of the field. Of course, it's first up here for the Smodens, previously with Matt Laurie. Showed a lot of ability in its last couple of preps with Matt Laurie, and I think it can run a good race here. It has to carry weight, but they have chosen to go with Kerry McAvoy. I always say when they've got to carry 60 kilos, they do still choose to go with the senior jockey. That it means that they do think it's a great winning chance, and obviously they really do want to make sure the experienced rider is on to get it home. So I will have it on top based on class. Obviously, won't want to be getting too far back of the run and having a run, because these probably, I can't see them going too fast out front. But Blue Roche on top for me also does have a win on a soft track and has good first up stats. So I think it can run well and win. In the second, number 3, Miss Invincible. I think this horse will be, as I said, on the speed. Might prove pretty hard to run down. Doesn't mind a soft track. I mean, it's had 3 starts for 1 placing. So for me, I couldn't really put it on top based off that. But it comes out of that Royal Witness form race at the Kensington track a few weeks ago. God of Thunder's come out and won, Royal Witness won during the week. So the form's really good out of that race. My only concern, as I said, is that it's never placed to the track from 2 starts. And it's never won on a wet track either. But for me, it'll get all the chances from the front. In the third, number 7, Ballistica. Now, this horse was terrific, winning first up at Warwick Farm, being transmitter for Bjorn Baker. But again, similarly to what I said with Miss Invincible, this horse, wet track stats aren't great, as they had the 1 placing from 4 starts on a wet track and 2 of those being on soft. So for me, it's going to have to improve a bit to win this race. And then in the fourth, I do like the chances of number 6, JJDR, now with Chris Wallow, formerly, of course, with Patrick Payne. Comes here first up for Chris Waller, and has had 3 placings on a soft track from 4 starts, so no, it will get through the going. It was really good last time out, beating Zip Spirit Majura. Prior to that comes out of the Sylvia's Mother race up the straight, so the form of that's been excellent. So it has got some decent form, but for me, I'll just have to find into for fourth. So for me, number 1 Blue Roche should be pretty hard to beat here at the $3.70. That's a really good price to take. In for second, number 3 Miss Invincible. In for third, number 7 Ballistica, and in for fourth, I like number 6, JJDR. Race number 4, 1200 metre, benchmark 78 here. Look at the speed map. I'd say that there's a lot of speed in this race. Noble Joey will go forward from barrier 7. So ball, I'd be interested to see what they do with this horse, because it has drawn barrier 10, but there's a lot of speed inside of it. So interesting to see what they do with it, whether they go forward or try and tuck in behind and get a spot. Master Ash, I'd say, will boot up from the inside, as well as Bax Bucks. Condor and Wanda are probably sitting not far behind. Eugene's Pick likes to get forward in its run. So a lot of speed in this race, and for me, I'm pretty happy to take number 2 Murillo here for the Peter and Paul Snowden team once again. Second up here, first up was okay by All Too Royal at the Kensington track there. I thought it closed off pretty well. Second up here, it's had a win. Second up from three goes, steps into a weak class, goes from a benchmark 88 down to a 78. And I think it just is mapped to get a really good run of the race. It's going to have a lot of speed to come on from the back. Second up, I think it'll be much improved, so I'd like to have it on top. For me to beat number 3 Baller, who I did have on top last time out at big odds in a Group 3, and it loomed up to win there, and obviously it was beaten by Deprive, which is obviously much superior form to this. But for me, barrier 10's a concern. Got to carry 59.5. It's got its chance last time out. Second up stats, it's never placed second up from 2 goes. It has had a win on a soft track from 2, but for me, it's just a little bit of a concern for me there to back it at $2.25. I really could not have a go at it at those odds. So in for second, number 3 Baller. In for third, number 4 Master Asher resumes here. Last prep, it finished 3.8 lengths behind Gem Song at Warwick Farm in a Group 3. That, of course, was the Eskimo Prince Stakes. That's really good form. Then it went and was finished 5.8 lengths behind Mr. Quickie. The form of that race has been really good as well. Trials leading have been okay, but look at the sort of calibre it's been up against. 3 lengths off Elite Aid and 2.7 lengths off Sunlight. So I really do think this horse can run a good race at big odds here, and doesn't mind a soft track either. It's had a win and a placing from 3 goes on the conditions. So Adam Hyramus can find the top, and if it doesn't get under too much pressure, this horse could really give a good kick and fight on well. In for fourth, number 7, All Too Free, who I thought was terrific last time out at Canterbury, beating Shock Alert. This horse will relish the soft tracks, had 5 starts on it for a win and 3 placings. Third up here, gets all the speed on the race, so something similar to what it did last time out at Canterbury, so I'd give it a great chance to run well again. So recap the numbers for me. Race number 4, number 2, Murillo on top at the $7 and $2.10. I think is a great price to take. Number 3, Baller in for second. As I said, no knock on Baller, but for me, $2.25 is way too short with the concerns that I have for it. In for third, number 4, Master Ash, and in for fourth, number 7, All Too Free. Race number 5 here is the 3-year-old fillies Group 2 Furious Stakes, and for me, it's going to be quite short and sharp. Libertini just wins. She beat most of these very convincingly last time out. First up, he gets onto the soft track, no worries, had a place on it before. Loves Randwick, had 3 starts at Randwick for 2 wins and a place. And I think this horse, if it could win this really well, she could definitely get an Everest slot. We've seen a lot of them take these horses that for a bit of X factor, the young ones. I think she could get an Everest slot off of this, and she's way better than these. And she is $1.18, which is, I think, ridiculous odds, but I can't see her getting beaten. So I've got her on top. To beat number 1, Kiyomichi, who I think, while it was disappointing first up behind Mizzy, I think she can improve off of that. Her second up stats are much better. She had 2 starts second up for a win and a placing. The only concern for me is 4 starts at Randwick for 1 place. She definitely is much better at Rose Hill, so I'll be looking forward to her getting back to that track, and half hoping that she doesn't run too well here, because then if she doesn't, we'll get a big price next time she goes around at Rose Hill. But if we get that heavy range, I don't think they will up at Randwick. I'll give her a much better chance. But she has had a placing on a soft track from 2 starts, so I expect her to improve a little bit off that first up run. In for third, I like number 3, Probable. This, of course, is Jamie Richards' horse from New Zealand. It was really good last preparation and finished behind Kiyomichi, and then, of course, Microphone by 1.8 lengths at Randwick, this track. Doesn't mind a bit of sting out of the ground. Has had a start on a place on a soft track and didn't place on that occasion. That, of course, was in that race, so I just spoke of by Microphone. But that was a much better effort than a Reeds. I thought it was wide. Nothing really came off from the back in that race. It was a really good run. So this horse could run a good race first up with James McDonald in the saddle. Then in for fourth at a bit of odds, I just think this horse, number 6, Darling Point, has a little bit of X factor. And it was really well back to Hawkesbury. Won well there. Prior to that, I mean, look at last preparation. It was second behind Betcha Flying. It was really good on that occasion. Then it won a trial being Parche. I think this horse can run well off the back of that made with, of course, a step out massively in class, being $51 probably over the odds, and could be in a top 4 finish. So recap the numbers for me. Race number 5, I like Libertini on top. She just doesn't get beaten. In for second, number 1, Kiyomichi. In for third, number 3, Probable. And in for fourth, number 6, Darling Point, a bit of odds. Race number 6 here is the Group 3 Concord Stakes. This is, of course, our Everest lead-up. We're really looking forward to this one. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that Red Zal and Zeus Style will find the top. Sunlight won't be far off. It might even find the front itself. Nature Strip won't be far off. And be interested to see if they get it to settle or not, or if it just revs up and goes forward. So for me, it's a real interesting race because it could go a couple of ways here. But for me, I just can't believe Redzall's at the odds. I know that perhaps last preparation he was a little bit flat, a little bit disappointing for some punters, but you've got to remember he's coming back to Randwick. He runs so well here, and especially if we get a bit of sting out of the track, which we have at this stage. It's a soft 6. Don't say we'll get to the heavy range, but we are in a soft 6, which Redzall, he just relishes the wet going. Just to have a quick look here, and I thought his trial leading was really good where he beat Nature Strip on that occasion. Of course, when those blinkers come on, those red blinkers, he just goes to another level. So I think over the 1,000 metres, he can improve much. I mean, look at his Randwick stats, just as I mentioned before. He's had 15 starts at the track for 8 wins and 4 placings. He's had 4 starts on a soft for a win, so he does get through the conditions. First up stats, 9 starts for 4 wins and 4 seconds. So he often doesn't miss a top 2 finish. So for me, he's $6.50 now. He was $8 the other day. That's just great odds for me. I'm going to have a bet on it at those odds. If they overdo it out front, I think number 5, Graf, can really come into this. It was a terrific trial at Newcastle, beating at a time and quite well there on that occasion. First up stats are great. So 3 starts for 2 wins, of course. Was up the straight over the 1,000 metres where it finished behind in her time, and that was a good run by him, and I think he can run well here again. And first up, 1,000 metres, as opposed to some of these who'll be looking for further. I think Graf's very good over the 1,000 metres, and he won't mind a bit of sting out of the ground either. So got him in for second. In for third, number 2, Nature Strip, again, probably is the best 1,000 metre horse in the country. And it was a good trial leading in. Obviously, he went to another level last preparation where he beat Jungle Edge at Caulfield in a Group 2. Then he was really disappointing in the Oakley Plate win favourite. Then he went to Chris Waller, and of course he then he beat Parada up at Rose Hill. That was on a heavy track. So he's much better on rain affected going, in my opinion. I mean, he's had 3 starts on a soft track for 2 wins, so he'll be up there. But for me, $2.30 is just way too short. I just could not back at those odds. For me, it's just a no-go zone. But he's definitely got a great chance. And number 4, Sunlight in for 4th. Look, she runs terrific, fresh, and she's a 1,000 metre specialist. So some of these will be getting over further. She doesn't mind a soft track. She had 3 starts on it for 3 placings. I think it should be in the finish once again here. So recap the numbers on race number 6. I'm going to have the old boy Red Cell on top. He's got to carry weight, but he loves Randwick. He loves a bit of sting out of the ground. He loves 1,000 metres. I know he can produce over the 1,200, but for me, he's great first up. He should not be those odds. So I'm happy to have him on top to beat number 5, Graf in for second. In for third, number 3, Nature Strip. And in for fourth, number 4, Sunlight. Race number 7, the Group 2 weight for age Chelmsford Stakes here. Look at the speed map. Sam It Out will find the top and look to replicate its last start performance where, of course, beat Avilius and beat some of these. That was a terrific win at massive odds for Bjorn Baker first up. Of course, that was, the Winx Stakes Group 1 level. The other horse that I can perhaps see going forward is Harrypaw, but I'd say that Sam It Out will find the front very easily once again. And she will be hard to run down, but for me, I'm happy to take Avilius this time round. I wasn't keen to back him first up over the 1,400 metres, but thought he was a really good run. And as such, I do think he'll be much improved. Stay up to the 1,600 metres here. Second up stats are great. So 4 starts, second up for 3 wins and a placing. Doesn't mind a bit of sting out of the ground. 4 starts on a soft track for a win and a placing. And 2 starts on a heavy for 2 wins. So he's going to improve. $2 looks pretty appealing to me, so I'm happy to have it on top. To beat number 2, Sam It Out, who I think, as I mentioned, is just going to be able to dictate terms like it did last time out. And it's going to be, while it steps up to the mile this time round, I do think that it'll run a good race once again, and it will prove tough to beat. Only Avilius will get past it, so I've got it in for second. And sorry, it's a he, not a she, Sam It Out. In for third, I do like the chance of number 12, Unforgotten. I thought this horse was pretty good first up behind Sam It Out. Really closed the line well. 5 starts second up for 3 wins and 2 placings. So I'd say it'll be in the finish again. My only concern is it doesn't like a wet track. So that's the only reason. I mean, I did have Unforgotten as my top pick until the rain came down at New South Wales and it's become a soft track. But for me, she'll be running well again. And number 15, Girl Tuesday, comes in for 4th. It was a really good win first up, and I had it on top of the $16 odds. I've mentioned it a lot of times, but this horse loves a bit of sting out of the ground as well. 3 starts on a soft for 2 wins. Second up stats are pretty good. It's had a win from it second up from 2 runs. I think she'll run well once again. She's not going to be as much speed on this time round as what she had last time, but I think she can still run well again. So recap the numbers for race number 7. Number 1, Avilius on top for me. To beat number 2, Sam It Out for second. In for third, number 12, Unforgotten. In for fourth, number 15, Girl Tuesday. Really soon with number 3, Finch here. He obviously finished 4th in a Melbourne Cup, and he finished 3rd in a Geelong Cup. He's going to be looking for further, but his first up stats are very good. He's had 4 starts for 2 wins and a 3rd first up. So off a big break, but he could run a good race. So if you want to put into quaddies, I'd definitely be leaving him because he is the class runner of this field. He is the best one here based off what he's shown so far. But for me, the miles too short for him. But first up stats are good, so give him a little bit of a sniff. Race number 8, it's the last of our group racing for Randwick. It's the Group 2 Tramway Stakes. And we get to see the New Zealand boom horse, Takao Shark, come over here for the first time and run. Look at the speed map. I'd say Penske and Archidemus will find the top, and Dreamforce will be not far off them either. But they're probably the only ones that will be up on the speed. As such, you want to be pretty close to speed. I think number 8, Invincible Gem, will get the chance to spear across the outside barrier and tuck in behind these leaders and be really hard to run down. I think $9.50 is a very good price. It was really good last night behind Sam It Out, as we'll get a really good form reference there. A lot of those runners go around in the race prior to this one. So we'll get a good form reference. Prior to that, it finished 0.2 of a length behind Elite. So, of course, run well last week at Caulfield again. So I just cannot understand why this horse is going at big odds. She seems to have turned a corner this prep. 3rd up, I think she could be much improved. She ticked off that 2nd up box. So I did say in my numbers 2 weeks ago in that Salmon Out race at Randwick, of course, the Wink Stakes. I did say that my concern with her was her second up stats, but she ticked that off last time out, so I think she must be going really well. And for me, she's going to be a top chance here to win with Brent Adele in the saddle. So I've got it on top to beat number 3, Colding. I think she's a very progressive horse. I really liked her trial, especially the latest one behind Eckstein. First up stats are good. She's had a run on a soft track once before for a placing, but I think she might need this run first up. Number 2, Check Out Shark. Got to put him in for 4th. He was pretty good first up on Endless Drama at Tarapa and at Weight for Age Group 2 there, of course, was the US Navy flag Foxbridge Plate. So he loves the soft conditions. He had 4 starts on it for 3 wins and a placing. Second up stats are great. He's had 2 starts, second up for 2 wins. So he's a great chance, but he's going to have to be very good to win this. So I want to see it first before I can dive into it at $2.60. So I've got him in for 3rd. Then in for 4th to run a decent race. I think number 5, Mr. Seawolf. I thought its recent trial was very good, beating Emperor's Way by 3 lengths. Doesn't mind sting out of the ground. It's pretty good first up. Had 8 starts for 3 wins and 4 placings. So he usually is in the numbers first up. And first up last prep, he won in Group 3. So you won't have to be too much better to win this race. And he's massively over the odds at $26 and $6 the place with Jay Ford in the saddle. So recap the numbers for me. Number 8, Invincible Gem on top at the $9.50 to $2.90. In for second, number 3, Colding. In for third, number 2, Tech Our Shark. And then for fourth, number 5, Mr. Seawolf. Moving on to the final race of the card, race number 9, I'd say 1500 metre benchmark 94. Look at the speed map here, a lot of speed in this. Say Special Missile and Hallelujah Boy will get forward. Dark Eyes will probably press forward and get up towards the speed. Sweet Deal won't be far off them. Lee might use the outside barrier to get prominent. So a little bit of speed in this race. This is my big value bet of the day. It's number 3, Morton's Fork at the $41. Similarly to Trap for Fools, I just think it's well over the odds. This horse is facing a far weaker field than what it's faced before. I mean, look at open handicaps, Group 3s. Look, only at Caulfield in a 2,000 metre race, only 1.4 lengths off Planciel in a Group 3 race there. In a Group 2, it was only 4 lengths off 50 Stars. And for me, it's just great form. And as long as we don't get in that heavy range, I don't think we will. I think this horse got a great chance. It's had 4 starts at the track for 4 placings. Comes here fresh. I thought his trial by Parada was quite good for Richard Litt. And new trainer, I think that's the only reason he's at the big odds. If he was still with Godolphin, he'd probably be a bit shorter. But I just think they're way over the odds. I think he'll be sit midfield and might be able to charge over these. I just think massively over the odds with Josh Parr in the saddle. So I'm happy to have it on top. To beat number 15, Re-Edit, who is a very good horse and comes here fresh first up. So 2 starts first up for 2 wins, so I think it can run well. Obviously, it was sent round behind Atana in a Group 2, but Doomben there before it eventually went to Eagle Farm and ran behind Mr. Quickie there in a Group 1. Finished third in a Group 2 behind Cadenda by 2 lengths, so this horse is definitely the class runner of the field, but for me, first up, a little bit of a career. He's going to be looking for further. But Brock Ryan's 3-kilo claim brings it right down to 49 kilos in the weights. So I can entertain having a backing at Re-Edit as well each way on the odds. So I'll be backing them both in the last of the race. So a bit of a theme there. I'll be doing that as well also in the Trap for Fools race at Moonee Valley. In for fourth, number 17, Roharan was disappointing last time out, but I think it can improve off that third up here. Gets a soft track, which obviously it's had 1 start, a soft track for a win. So I think he will improve off the back of that run and run well again. In for third. And then in for fourth, number 6, Sweet Deal is just absolutely flying at the moment. Going for third in a row. Beat Prime Candidate well last time out. My only concern with this horse is have 4 starts on a soft track for no placing. So a bit of a query there. But for me, I'm happy to have number 3, Morton's Fork on top of the $41, $11 a place. I think it's massively over the odds. In for second, number 15, Re-Edit. I'm also going to be having a go each way. In for third, number 7, Roharan. Again, right down the weights and get a good chance. And in for fourth, number 6, Sweet Deal. So moving into the best of the round week card for me. My best bets, race number 3, number 1, Blue Roche at the $3.70. Looks very hard to beat. And then also for me, race number 6, number 1, Red Cell. I think he's just way over the odds and he's a very good bet at the $6.50. So I'm going to make him one of the best. And race number 7, number 1, Avilius, of course, at the $2. Best each way plays for me, race number 8, let's try again. Race number 8, number 8, Invincible Gem at $9.50 and the $2.90 the place. Really happy to be with it. And then race number 9, number 3, Morton's Fork. Got to put him in at the $49 and $11 a place. I think it's a very good each way play, as well as re-editing that race at $7.50 and $2.60. So fair bit of value and some good bets there at Randwick. Really looking forward to it. We'll get a good idea of the Everest after the Concord Stakes, and really starting to get into the spring, seeing some good race horses come out now, and we're seeing some good internationals here as well. Really looking forward to check out Shark going around. Just interested to see what he do first up here in Australia. Obviously, he's had a huge boom, and we're looking forward to seeing how he runs. So, good luck to you follow tomorrow, and enjoy the races. It's some fantastic meetings tomorrow at Moonee Valley and Randwick. If you haven't already done so, go check out my Moonee Valley preview and tips. And if you're following tomorrow, hopefully we can continue to bank build ahead of spring. I say it all the time, but that's what we're looking to do at the moment. It is springtime now. We're getting very close to the main carnival, so really starting to heat up now, and some really good races going on. We can hopefully get plenty of winners. So good luck tomorrow, and enjoy the races.